Go for it.
All right, this is the second or third edition of the American tree. My first British tree was done and printed in 1979. I was the head coach at Loyola Academy and their swimming team. And as soon as I got that done, I started planning to do another one on the American music. And again, the music situation back in probably the beginning of the 80s was different. Again, there were very, very few references and books on music in general to draw reference from. So again, critics, record sales, and so forth were some of the things that I used, along with living through the period of time and being able to see what was being thrown at the public and what was getting thrown up against the wall and what was sticking. This was the first tree I did in the graphic arts format of cut and paste. I still drew the names and grouped logos by hand. Then with an X-Acto knife, I would cut them out and put double-sided tape on the back of it, and I started to arrange the names according to that. And this format, I decided to do an East Coast and a West Coast bias. You can see at the bottom of the tree, we've got the skyline of what was New York back in 1983. You have the West Coast with its surfing and its beaches, and they were very distinct styles. But even way back in the 1980s, most of the music was being played east of the Mississippi. The West Coast was beginning to emerge as a major power, and then also the Midwest was starting to take off as well. But as this tree again represents everything, this one represents all the music scene until 1989. And again, some groups that are huge on this tree or very large and important looking, as the American rock tree or the American music scene develops. Many of these get smaller and smaller, and very few get any bigger. But again, it's a situation where you and then in the late 70s and so forth, you have a Southern rock movement, independent music movement, where people were not having to get the contracts to be able to record music, and people were doing a lot of more things on an independent level. And now, if you have two arms and you got two legs, you see everybody seems to have their own CD out there. But again, it's I try to incorporate again the representative logos of the bands, which are always fun because most of the major bands came about through the era of the 60s and the 70s, where the logos and their image were just as important as the music that they were playing.
So everything on the landscape and the trunk, the bands there. Talk about why each individual band is there.
We would dip a little bit farther back into the Americana. Nowadays we call it roots music. In its nature now, you have country, you have bluegrass, you have blues, you have soul, you have pop, you have all these different things coming together and producing what we have now as the face of music. But again, Elvis, Chuck Berry, Little Richard, they were all instrumental, along with Hank Williams and Bob Wills and the Lead Belly, and all these bands came from the roots and were able to, you know, form what our music situation of today is.
Okay.